Well, it's finally happened. I've locked myself out. The keys are inside and we need to get them out. Which brings me to my next point and the purpose of this video. How do we open a car without the keys? Well, you need one simple thing. One of these cool little lockout kits right here. So this is what your average lockout kit looks like, and the purpose of the lockout kit is to open the car door but leave no trace we were ever here. And no trace meaning no damage to the doors, no damage to the weather stripping. So I've linked a couple of lockout kits in the description below so you can check those out if you want to purchase them. But before you purchase a lockout kit, you need to consider how your car opens from the inside. Is it a door pin or is it a button, for example? And that might determine what items you might require in your lockout kit. So maybe you have a central locking button like this one here, and also a central unlocking button. It could be the case of just pushing that, and then the doors open. Maybe you have a door pin right here, for example. I don't, but maybe you do. You might want something to grab onto that and pull it up. Or maybe you want to hook onto the trusty door handle and open the door that way. Or maybe you left the keys in the ignition and you just want to kind of pull them out and work them out of the door. So there are a lot of different ways, but it really depends on the make, model and year of your car on how you're going to open the door. But this will give you an indication of what lockout kit you might need. For this car, I just have a central unlocking button, so something like this will work quite well, just to give it a nice poke. So a standard lockout kit pretty much contains three groups of components. You have your plastic trim tools here, which is designed just to crack open the door a little bit. And once the door is cracked open, we can slot in one of these airbags right here. And these can pump up with the little bladder right here. And that will force the door open even more. Once we've forced the door open and the door's being held open with the bladders here, these air wedges, pump wedges, we can slot in this long reach tool and unlock the car. That's the key of this whole video. Now all cars and trucks are made differently. You have to be very careful with the paint or the weather stripping. You know, it really depends on the vehicle. You see this car right here has some weather stripping here, so we don't want to damage that. We don't want to rip it. We want to take real care of this. So we want to pick the appropriate plastic non-marring wedge or something like that in order to just crack the door open just a little bit. This is a door wedge. This might work quite well. We've got all different plastic components here. Again, it depends on the door type, but I'm going to try with this. This is a classic door wedge and it's non-marring. It's made of plastic. It's not going to scratch our metal. If you want to be extra cautious, you can use some painter's tape and mark this on your car just to be doubly safe. So what I'm doing with this door wedge here, I'm going to insert it around here just slightly above halfway. And you can see when I do that, the door opens just slightly. You can see a crack appears in the door. Once that crack appears, we want to slot in one of these guys here. Now these are called pump wedges, air shims. They've got lots of different names, but the idea is these bags right here are going to keep that crack open, and it's also going to grow that gap even wider as well. That's the point of this. And how this works, you just squeeze the bladder multiple times and the bag slowly inflates. There's also a quick release as well to let all of the air out. So we're going to crack the door open a little with this, and at the same time with the other hand insert one of these pump wedges right here into the gap above the wedge. So what you're going to end up with is something a little like this. Once you have this, just start inflating the bladder right here and watch the door slowly crack open. So you can see how much the door is opened up now. We've got a nice little gap going all the way across the top. If the gap's not big enough, well then, maybe you've realized what the second bag is for. You can just slot that in the top and repeat the process. And the gap in the middle here is where we're going to slot our long little rod, which is down there. So now I'm going to assemble the long reach tool. It came with all these little joining components, but the idea is we just want to screw this all together to make one long reach tool. So I've fully assembled the long reach tool. It's about 5 feet. It's pretty long. It's going to pretty much get anywhere in your car where you want it to go. So these air wedges right here, they can hold a lot of force, you know, 300 to 500 pounds. They're not only useful for things like this, but you can level out appliances in your house or bookshelves or something like that. They're really cool things, you know, for multiple uses. But yeah, these will crank these doors open and hold them no problem. So you can slot your long reach tool here right in the corner. So you can see now we've opened this door by about an inch or something like that. So that should be enough space. You can clearly see inside the car now. So we're going to slot in our long reach tool and try and press the button on the center console. If we can't reach that for whatever reason, then we can try and open the door handle down there. So we have a couple of options we can do. So here we go, moment of truth. And there it is, did you hear that? And voila. So if you have a door pin that normally opens the door and you pull up on it like that, then there's a few options you can do if your lockout kit doesn't contain a tool specific for that. You can get a big zip tie, obviously one bigger than this, and just sort of loop it around and pull it up like that. You can use a slip knot, you can use box strapping, lots of different things, but the idea is the same. We crack the door open, get something in here and pull up on the door pin. So you can see absolutely no damage to the door, the weather stripping, nothing at all. Perfect. I just want to say a real quick message to our viewers. I made this channel a few years ago and its primary aim was to give you the skills, but more importantly the confidence in order to tackle pretty much any DIY job you may have. In the process we've saved our viewers thousands of dollars or pounds or euros, whichever currency you want to use. I've put multiple hours of time into making videos each and every week, which I somehow juggle between family and a full-time job. If any of our videos on our channel helped you, please support our channel by clicking the thanks button underneath any video on this channel. You can choose how much you wish to donate. It's going to go right back into the channel towards videos, tools and everything else. So thank you very much for that. When you make a donation towards the channel, you can put an optional message and your message will be highlighted along all the comments for everybody to see. The bigger the donation, the bigger the highlight, so everybody can see how awesome you are. So that's how you unlock pretty much any car with a lockout kit like this one here. I hope you liked the video and thank you for watching. Good luck!